family traveled coast to coast in a covered wagon. The head of this family is one of these three men. What is your name, please?
My name is Leon Gillis.
My name is Leon Gillis.
My name is Leon Gillis.
Only one of these men is the real Leon Gillis. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Washington newspaperman and senior White House correspondent for UPI, Merriman Smith, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Tell the Truth is brought to you this week by Anacin, the headache remedy with a special combination of ingredients to relieve pain, fight depression, calm jittery nerves. Anacin. Incidentally, I don't want to let this go by the boards. Our guest tonight, first time on this show, Merriman Smith, is the author of a bestseller called The Good New Days, and I commend it to you, just
Thank
as
you very much.
commend ourselves for having you here with us tonight. Welcome, Merriman.
Thank you very much, Bud.
Really nice to have you with us. Well, all right, we've got to get going here, so open up that first envelope. And I didn't even say hi to all of you, did I? Hi, panel.
You just rushed in here,
I
Bud. It was
sure did, and I'm sorry. Tom and Peg and Kitty, open up the envelope, take out your affidavit cards for the first time, and follow along as I read. I, Leon Gillis, am probably the only man alive to have crossed the entire country in a covered wagon. I cut down some trees, built a wagon, bought 2 horses, and then with my wife and 6 children headed west. We slept in the wagon or in sleeping bags on the ground. My wife kept the children up on their schoolwork. Our diet included fish and game taken from the streams and woods along our route. We arrived in California 4,000 miles and 294 days after leaving home. We are now planning a covered wagon trip across the European continent and into Russia. Signed, Leon Gillis. Three intrepid gentlemen, all claiming to be the same one, namely Leon Gillis, 20th century pioneer. Let's start the questioning with our own pioneer, Peggy Cass.
Thank
Peggy?
you. Wagon Master Leon Gillis, number 1. Did you do this trip in a Conestoga wagon?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Gillis, number 2, where's the Donner Pass?
California.
Thank you. Mr. Gillis, number 3, what happened at the Donner Pass that made it famous?
There's a train wreck there some years ago.
Thank you.
Snowed in.
Mr. Gillis, number 1, did you have to get fishing licenses for every state you went into to catch those fish?
No.
Oh, you just did it illegally.
If that's what you want to call it. If that's what you want to call
Oh,
it.
I don't mean to call it that. That's just a fish and game warden would. Mr. Gillis, number 2, did you go on regular roads or did you just go through like old side tracks?
Regular roads.
Well, did you get a lot of looks from the people going by in their cars?
A lot of looks.
Thank you.
Merriman.
Number 1, what's your business?
Right now, I'm unemployed.
Number 2, what's your business?
I'm a life insurance agent.
Number 3, what's your business?
I'm a dry goods clerk.
Number 1, do you recall anything significant at Donner Pass in the past?
Well, not particularly right offhand, I couldn't say.
Number 3, where did you do most of your fishing?
All the way. In the
Specifically,
summertime.
did you fish in Colorado?
Oh, we went the southern route.
Did you fish in Texas?
Yes.
Kitty.
Number 1, I'm fascinated by this because I always wanted to know what keeps the rain out when you sleep in a covered wagon.
Oh, the canvas.
Canvas keeps the rain out?
Yes.
Number 2, are there other kind of wagons than a Conestoga? Is that how you pronounce it?
Conestoga.
Station wagons.
No, that's not what I meant. Number 3, how long did it take you to build this?
It took about 2 months.
Number 1, can you tell me what gave you this idea?
Well, we really don't know. We just thought we'd like to take a trip, like the old pioneers did.
Number 2, did you shop at all in the A&P or did you feed your family completely from game and streams?
Both.
But you did fudge a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Poston.
Number 2, what do you call the wheel, the rim of one of the wagon wheels?
Well, we used rubber wheels, metal wheels and rubber tires.
Metal wheels and rubber. You did have rubber tires?
Yes.
Oh. Number 3, why is a Conestoga wagon called a Conestoga? Do you remember?
Yes, that's where the first covered wagons were built for transcontinental work.
Number 2, how did you draw up your plans for this particular wagon?
We didn't have any plans. We just made them from memory.
Number 1, does your wagon float?
No, it doesn't.
Number 2, is that true? I mean, do you agree with that?
No, it wouldn't float for long.
And that's it. So time for you to stop floating and get your feet on dry land there and mark your ballots, panel. Mark them at once and without change, if you will, and of course without consultation as you vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will get $250 for every incorrect vote. All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2, Bud. I thought his son looked a little bit like him. I didn't get any information from the questions. They all seemed to know pretty much about the trip and so forth, but I voted for number 2.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2 as well because 1 and 3 gave me what I didn't think was the right answer. And besides, he sort of looks as though he could be on wagon trade. You know what I mean?
Merriman, your vote.
I voted for number 2 because of the manner in which he bobbled the discussion of his occupation. He sounded to me like he didn't want to tell me.
Kitty.
I voted for number 1 for a very simple reason. Anyone who took a 4,000-mile trip in a covered wagon is bound to be unemployed by the time he got back.
All right, let's check it through. The votes are in, the minds are made up, and I can think of no better way to do this than to have that whole beautiful Gillis family come out and pick their own father. So come out and line up, family, if you will, please. Line up back there. All right, everybody set? Gillis's, pick your pop. You ever see a more beautiful family in your life?
And they do look like him.
Oh,
Yes,
sure they do.
look
That's why we had to
exactly
get them
like
off stage after started, you know, because we were afraid you'd really...
Don't tell me 1 and 2 are related because they also look like number 1.
Well, it's fun. I'll tell you what, let's settle that right now. Number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Frank Laver. I'm a soldier in the U.S. Army.
Now, number 3, what do you do and what is your name?
I'm an astrojet captain for American Airlines, and my name is Daniel Boone.
Now, listen to this for just a minute. Here we have Leon Gillis, a man who, let's see, took 294 days to cross the country. And next to him, we have Daniel Boone. And now mark this, and mark it well. He flew his jet across the continent in the new record time of 3 hours and 38 minutes. That's hustling. Is that with passengers?
With passengers.
Fully stocked, and there you are. All right, checking the score, I guess you know already. Panel was a little too conscious of similarities and resemblances, I guess, and that meant that they had 3 right. Only 1 wrong, but that's $250 in any event, and our best love to all of you. We thank you so much for being with us. That is, of course, from Addison, and a gift package from Madison of the fine products that they make. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye, and may God bless you. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mary Wilroy.
My name is Mary Wilroy.
My name is Mary Wilroy.
Now, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit, panel? I, Mary Wilroy, am the manager of Blair House in Washington, D.C., the residence for top-level foreign dignitaries visiting the President of the United States. I am responsible for the administration of Blair House. I also oversee the personal comfort of every guest. No matter when they arrive, I greet them at the door. Blair House has been the temporary home of President Ayub Khan of Pakistan, King Saud of Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Menzies of Australia, Premier Kishi of Japan, Prime Minister Fanfani of Italy, Shah Reza Pahlavi of Iran, Chancellor Adenauer of West Germany, and Prime Minister Pandit Nehru of India. Signed, Mary Wilroy. Very well, panel. These ladies all claim to be Mary Wilroy, manager of Blair House in Washington, D.C. And we'll start this cross-examination with Merriman Smith. Merriman?
Number 3, who pays the bills at Blair House?
The State Department.
Even though the president's guests stay there.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, where was President Truman in Blair House at the time of the shooting?
He was supposed to have been in his bedroom on the second floor.
Where on the second floor is that bedroom, number 2?
I don't understand where. It's on the second floor.
Yes, but what part of the second floor? Is it in the front or the back of the house?
It doesn't face on the front.
Number 3, when King Saud of Saudi Arabia was there, who did he have with him? A very distinctive personality.
I don't think I remember.
Kitty.
Number 1, how many people do you have under you in staff?
The regular staff are 4.
Is that all?
That's
Goodness.
all.
Number 2, what is the strangest request you ever had to satisfy one of your guests?
Well, there was a particular tea requested at midnight one time.
Number 1, have you got the strangest request you could tell me?
Yes, missing slip. One of the ladies forgot.
Number 3, what did you have to get in the biggest hurry that was missing from Blair House?
The slip in an hour.
Number 1, do you have...
Tom.
Thank you. What's the, number 3, how much is the rent for this place a night?
I think that's classified, Mr. Poston.
Well, number 2, how far is it from the beach? I don't know whether I want to stay there or not. I've heard about this place. Number 1, where do you actually draw supplies? How do you draw supplies for the Blair House?
We purchased them just as any other household would purchase them.
And your bills are paid by?
The Department of State.
The Department of State, thank you. You don't have, you don't go through anything to buy your supplies.
Peggy.
Miss Wilroy, number 1, did King Saud of Saudi Arabia bring many wives?
No,
He didn't?
not to the Blair House.
Number 2, what color is Blair House?
Blair?
Yes. What color is it?
Oh, it's decorated in cream primarily.
Outside?
Outside it's the federal. It has a white
Thank
pillars.
you. Number 3, what is the name of the Shah of Iran's wife?
Farah,
I'm
not really sure.
Number 1, do you feed them when they're at Blair House or they have to eat out?
Oh, no, we feed them.
Oh, well, number 2, do you have...
Give them a meal ticket and send them out on their own. Well, that's all the time we have for that, so it's time to vote right now. Will you kindly do so, panel, immediately, without change, and, of course, without consultation. As you vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I hear some people in the audience saying 2. I voted for number 1. I thought that her answers were the least, the most straightforward and faster. I can't think of any other words.
Well, I voted for number 1 as well because I thought that she seemed to know what she was talking about. And I always thought that Blair House was sort of yellow. Or maybe it was just dirty when I was down there.
Merriman, your vote.
I voted for number 3.
Oh.
Largely because she knew very crisply who paid the bills over there, and that's very important at Blair House.
And Kitty, what about your vote?
I voted for number 1. I think number 1 looks as though she's efficient enough to take care of the needs of all of these extraordinarily disparate people.
And there we have it once more. With all the votes in and all the minds made up and good solid reasons given, Let's see which one of these ladies actually is the real manager of President Kennedy's guest house, Blair House. Will the real Mary Wilroy please stand up? Daddy, this panel is on a high level. Yes, Merriman?
What threw me off that Mary Wilroy said that she bought the food in the open market. I remember very distinctly a situation at Blair House some years back when they bought a lot of government surplus food and a lot of it spoiled on them.
He lives a half a block from Blair House.
Maybe that was before Mary took over. How long have you been in charge there?
2 years.
2 years. So that was before your time, wasn't it?
Right.
Definitely before her time. Number 2, would you give us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Dorothy Sheehan. I'm a housewife.
Don't say it that way, Dorothy.
But not at Blair House.
No, but it's still a very proud thing to say that you're a housewife. Number 3, your real name and what do you do?
My name is Marilyn Sonner, and I'm secretary to the managing editor of Life magazine.
Ah. Well, I tell you, we're digging our way through a tough panel here tonight, challengers, and it seems there was only one incorrect vote that time, too, and that's $250 to parcel out amongst you. But I hope it brings you joy, and I hope you had fun. That's more than half the battle. That, of course, comes your way from Anison, as well as a gift package of all of the fine products made by the makers of Anison. Thanks so much. Good night. God bless you. Very well, panel. Let's meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Rod Laver.
My name is Rod Laver.
My name is Rod Laver.
Now you've had a look. Follow along with your copies of this affidavit, if you will, please, panel, as I read from mine. I, Rod Laver, am a professional tennis player. Last year, I was the top-ranked amateur player in the world. I became the second person in history to win the famous Grand Slam of tennis, which means that in the same year, I won the championships of England, Australia, France, and the United States. This feat was accomplished only once before by Don Budge in 1938, the year in which I was born. Signed, Rod Laver. Here we have 3 gentlemen, all claiming to be Rod Laver, champion tennis player. And we'll start our questioning this time with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what is en tout cas?
I do not know.
Number 2, what is the texture of the court at Wimbledon?
It's a lawn court.
Number 3, can you tell me the name of the young lady who wore shocking pink pants at Wimbledon and had the whole rules changed?
It was Carol Figueroa.
Was she Brazilian?
No, she wasn't.
No. Number 1, where do you play when you play in Australia?
At White City, or either one of the capital cities, actually, but the Davis Cup was at White City.
Number 2, what is the weight of your tennis racket?
Mine is 15 ounces.
Number 3, what is the weight of your tennis racket?
Mine is about 14 ounces.
Number 1, how many do you have at rackets?
Well, there's Tom Poston, for example. Tom.
Thank you. Number 2, where is Pancho Gonzalez? Where does he maintain residence? Do you know?
In California, I believe.
Number 1, what is open tennis? Can you tell us? There's a lot of controversy about tennis.
Open tennis is where you have the professionals and the amateurs playing together. That isn't so right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Number 3, do you know who is Little Mo?
Little Mo is Maureen Connolly, an American woman player.
Thank you. Number 3, why is the score, one of the scores, love in tennis? Do you know what that refers to?
It goes back quite a long way. I'm not sure exactly what the word really means.
Thank you.
Peggy.
Thank you. Number 2, who is the other Pancho besides that Pancho he just said?
Pancho Segura.
Thank you. Number 3, where is the Longwood Cricket Club?
It's in Boston.
Thank you. Number 1, where's the West Side Tennis Club?
Forest Hills.
Thank you. Boy, they know everything. Tell me, number 2, a girl once wore lace pants in England and they changed the rules. Who was that girl?
I can't recall the name offhand.
Do you remember number 3?
I believe it's Gussie Moran.
That's her. Oh, number 1. Who is Helen Wills Moody?
Helen's, I don't know.
Do you know number 2?
Merriman.
Number 2, what's the favorite stringing, your favorite stringing in the racket?
Beef gut or lamb gut.
Mm-hmm. How many rackets did you have, number 1? You didn't get to that answer a moment ago.
I have 6, but...
That's all you own?
Yes.
Number 3, in 1938, the year you were born, and Budge was a great champion, there was another great American player, and his name was Grant. What was his first name?
I believe it's Bitsy Grant.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the time we have, I'm sorry to say, but there's still time for you to mark your ballots, which I ask you to do right now, if you will, without change and without consultation. Voting as you go for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set, everyone? Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 3. I love those answers. He knew Maureen Stapleton and Bitsy Grant and all of the other people, and he answered
Maureen
all of...
Stapleton?
Maureen Conley, what am I saying?
He knew, but you didn't. Peggy, your vote.
Well, I voted for number 3, too, because I don't know anything about tennis, but he seemed to know a lot. And another thing, I think 6 rackets is an enormous amount of rackets to have.
Well, it depends on what rackets you're in. Merriman.
I voted for number 3, too, largely because I think any seasoned pro or amateur player today would be very familiar with the men who played against Budge.
And Kitty.
I voted for number 3 because number 1 didn't know about Antuca, and they should know who Helen Wills Moody was, even though they're much, much younger than all that. And number 3 knew about all the ladies whose panties had the rules changed.
And so there we have it. This is unanimous this time, 100% for number 3. Let's see whether we've flattered ourselves and our intelligence or guessed right or wrong as we sneak up upon the truth and find out in resolvement which one of these gentlemen actually is the champion tennis player. So, Wilroy, Rod Laver, please stand up.
It is.
Yes, congratulations to him. Congratulations to all of you. My heavens, you're really bright tonight. Actually, Rod is on a 65-match tour in the World Series of Professional Tennis now. Well, where do you play next, Rod?
I'll be playing in Washington and in Richmond and Baltimore, I believe, the next 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Keeps you on the go, doesn't it, huh?
It certainly does, yes.
You sort of, is Pancho Gonzalez playing in this group?
No, Pancho's not playing. We're playing a team of 6 players. Rosewall, Jimeno, McKay, Buckles, and Ayala.
Oh, boy. You really see tennis at its best in that. Well, let's find out about these other 2 who learned a lot about tennis if they don't already know something about it. Number 1, what is your real name, sir? What do you really do?
My name is John Dennis, and I'm a student at Columbia University.
And number 2, your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Ron Dowler, and I'm chauffeur to the Canadian Consul General here in New York.
Well, gentlemen, we thank you. We also apologize for the brightness of our panel, because in that case there were no incorrect votes, and of course from Edison, $150 at least comes your way, and our sincere thanks. Also a gift package of the fine products from the makers of Addison on your way out. Hope you enjoyed your visit to us. We thoroughly enjoyed having you with us. Good luck to you, young man, and good night, and God bless you. Tom, you raised the point of where the term love comes from in tennis. Where does it come from? Do you know?
It's the French word for egg, l'œuf, which is a 0 on the scoreboard.
And we picked
it up. Is that right,
and,
Peggy?
Yes, that's
we
right.
picked it up and
we
made
corrupted it to love.
Love into love, huh?
I never knew that.
I love you all. I love you. Thanks for everything, panel. You're marvelous. Good night to you.
Good night, Rod.
And good night to all of you. Don't forget to join us the same time next week. And, of course, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, the afternoon show. And until then, this is Bud Collier saying good night for Anderson and reminding you to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Woodson, Bill Todman production. It's Carlisle's Gown by Gauthier. To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Anacin to relieve headache pain, fight depression, and calm jittery nerves. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. The preceding program was pre-recorded.